I'm in your corner, friend. I'm in your corner.
And I was being very intentional with the people that I interviewed first because I wanted to be like a level of comfort where it's like, I don't want to feel nervous talking to me. Like, who the fuck am I? Right?
True, but still nervous. Okay.
I get it. Be nervous with me, okay?
Yeah.
We're all connected in some which way, and your stories is needed. So I just want to open this up, right? And have you tell me about who you are, what you do. Give me a overall introduction.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, my name is Myka Gardner, but call me Myka for short. I'm the owner of Natural. I make Seamoss juices, natural herbal teas, and now I tapping back into doing locs and stuff. I'm a mother of 5. You can hear one of them. I am 37 or 38. One of them. I'm making one of them this year. I was born in Louisiana, raised on the island of St. Croix. A lot of people don't know that.
Listen, your background is blurred. Your background is blurred. We can't see. So keep going.
But you can hear the screaming. So yeah, my life. Mother of 5. My oldest is 18, 16. I have almost 10-year-old. Isla is 2. And baby Sanai, she is 10 months. Yeah, so my journey through motherhood, I started young at 19 years old, had my first. Moved to the state of Florida, left her home with my mom until she was 4 years old, and then just had my other kids after that.
You said you had your first at 19?
19, yes.
19, and right now you are 30 plus with a 10-month-old.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So let's talk about the difference between your pregnancy journey from your first to now being, I want to say, more aware now after having multiple experiences. The difference between like your first pregnancy and your 5th.
My first one, I didn't know what I was doing. It was me and my mom throughout the whole pregnancy by myself, just being young and fast and reckless. I didn't know anything. And if you're from the Virgin Islands, you know our medical and health system down there isn't the best. So I was just going with the flow, going to my appointments, clinics, or whatever, and I had her. It was natural in the hospital, but I labored at home until like the very end. And then when we got to the hospital, she just came out.
Was that a choice to labor at home for as long as possible, or like did you have any kind of preparation being that young?
Well, listen, I remember it was my mother's choice because she was like, well, if you go to the hospital, they're gonna send you back home, so just stay until the last minute. She didn't know nothing from nothing. I'm her only child. I'm her one experience. So she's sitting there with a birthing book. I'm sitting on the bed and we just winging it. Now knowing once the contractions start to get closer and closer, it's time to go. So that was that first experience. I didn't know what I was doing.
But let's talk about the third. You have 2 kids now, right? What was your birth experience like for your third?
Honestly, I could say it was pretty much the same. I did birth in the hospital for the third. There was no preparation. I was just going based off of the first 2, and that was it. I didn't do any birthing class, no, nothing. Just, I wasn't knowledgeable on anything. I don't know how old I was. I don't remember, but I wasn't in that mindset where I'm at now, knowing the things that I know now. Then back then I was like in a toxic, abusive relationship. So I just wanted this baby out. I just went to the hospital. I was like, it's time. And that was it.
First 3 birth experiences are at the hospital. What made you switch into having a home birth? Because you ended up having 2 home births after that, right?
Right. The first one
so how do we get there?
Was with Isla. With Isla, I was actually going to do a hospital birth. Now, what happened with that was that I was going to my doctor appointments and stuff, but then I just started to feel very like I was being attacked at my appointments. My doctor was of another race, but she wasn't on, I felt like she wasn't on my side. Like things that I didn't want to do. I'm not into vaccinations. I didn't want certain things to be done. I wanted a water birth, but I know like in Coral Springs Hospital is like, they don't really do that type of stuff. And I remember for my last appointment before I switched to the birthing center, my physician, she was like, I declined some vaccination that she wanted to give me in my 3rd trimester. And I was like, listen, I don't want to do it. And then she started attacking and saying, if you don't do it, this can, kill your child. You could do this and that. So I was like, you know what? I'm done. That same day I contacted a birthing center, got my medical records, and I switched. My whole energy was just off. I didn't feel like it was personable. It was so transactional through the whole experience, all my appointments. I was done. And then I went to a birthing center, and then given that I had other children and they were all pretty fast births, she recommended just doing a home birth. And that was like my first experience with the home birth.
Did you have any kind of nervous feeling to the point where you felt like you couldn't do it, or did you feel like empowered to birth out?
Honestly, I felt like I couldn't do it. I was nervous about it, even though I had my other experiences, but being at home, I felt that there's still a chance, like, what if something goes wrong? But I did have a doula. I hired a doula. I had a midwife. They were like excellent. So they did put me at ease. And then with going through my doula appointments, and she was prepping us with like pain management and different things, what to expect. And then I was more doing my own research, like on YouTube, and just doing my own little thing. And then I could do it. And I did it. I had a water birth, and that was cool. Yeah.
So the confidence with now you're fit, right? How was that birthing experience?
By far the absolute best experience like ever. Like, I was so confident. I felt so empowered. And I didn't want a doula. At the very beginning, I was like, I want this to be an unassisted birth. I don't want anything. My doula was a friend of mine, but she wanted to be a part of it. So I was like, okay, just be a part of it. But I did not want a doula. I didn't need one. So the things she wanted to go over, and so I was like, I did this already. I kind of know, if we just going through the motions, we could go through the motions, but I honestly don't need any of it. Now, Kareem this was his first experience with the home birth. So I had to like kind of prep him for that experience, like what to expect. And, it was a lot of prepping with just remaining calm, not thinking the worst. It's gonna be fine. I would send him videos so he can see like what it would be, and then like trying to give him a visual of what the space can look like, that we control every aspect of the space, what we want, what we don't want, who we want around. So so the preparation was all throughout the 9 months. And then day of, he was ready. He was ready. He catchy baby, and he was ready.
What is something that you feel like is like a non-negotiable that you would need when it comes to like postpartum?
Postpartum, especially this round, I made it very clear like what my boundaries were when we had like visitations from family, and we both were on the same page. Like, once after we have the baby, it's going to be 30 days of no contact with family. Nobody's coming over. If we do have guests, it's like one person here and there. It's not like a whole gang of people. One thing that I struggle with, I told him that I would work on postpartum wise, is me being vocal on what I need from him, even if it's just handling Isla, while I nurse, or, when I sleep. What he was really good at while we sleeping at night, if she gets up, he gets up with me. That was a big deal for me. Cause you sleeping and I nah. I think just more, I needed more like of that emotional support, knowing that if I call you and I need you for something, you hear, like, with no questions, no hesitation. And that worked. I mean, me just being vocal. In my past, I didn't have any of that. My boundaries were just being all stepped over. Nobody was listening to me. They're just doing what they wanted to do. But this time it was it was like night and day.
You feel like you've been a lot more intentional, right?
Yes.
With your boundaries, more intentional when it comes to like your self-care. Because a lot of times when we end up triggered, or when we end up like letting people walk all over us, is because we don't necessarily have that voice to be like, you know what, this is what I need, let's fix this, right?
Right.
So now, after your boundaries are in place, what is some things that you do as far as like self-care to kind of like balance that part of your relationship and balance the motherhood? Like, what are you doing to take care of yourself?
One thing that I make it a big point to do is to make sure I work out every single day. I have a set schedule every morning. I have to get it in the morning. No, the problem with that is that I have to take the babies with me. It's still, I'm not by myself. Unless, I go in the evening times and then I have a little hour to myself or something, or whatever time I need, I have that. But I have to work out in the mornings. Some people say that's not really self-care because you're taking the kids with you and, but at least for that time, I feel a little at ease. And then I come back to reality.
Are you still breastfeeding?
I am, yes.
Okay, so let's talk about how you manage all of that. Being a mom of 5, right, with 2 little ones that are still in the house, breastfeeding, still trying to be a partner, because one thing that you didn't mention, you are engaged and getting married, right? So transitioning your relationship into something else that you've never experienced, right? So it's like, now I have to plan for a marriage. I have all of these kids. I have a whole business that I'm running, and I still have kids that are still dependent on me, right? And I still have to take care of myself. How are you balancing all of that?
I'm not.
Managing
to be honest, I'm not. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not. Some days I have it together. Other days I sit here. I might sit here and just look at them crying because I don't know. It's just me and them until 4:00 when daddy come home, or until one of the bigger kids come. But to be honest, I don't know. I try to, set a routine. My problem is I don't write my routine down. I keep it in my head. And I know that's a problem, but I don't. Some days I go with the flow and whatever happens, happens. But I think that's one struggle for me, is like, there's no balance. I really don't have like a set schedule. If I get to some of my orders, I get to it. If I don't, tomorrow is another day.
How was your breastfeeding journey between all of them?
My breastfeeding with the first, I gave it 1 month. And I said, this ain't for me. Mind you, I was young and, and I was doing formula after that. The first, the second, and the third, formula babies. The last 2.
So did you try to breastfeed for the second and third, or did you just go straight to formula?
I didn't try. The last 2, I was like, I don't know what it was that clicked. Maybe age. It has to be age. And me being more, starting to tap into being more conscious about what's going on and different things. And the last 2, strictly breast milk. Isla was 18 months. She was 18 months. And I said, that's it. I
mean, to go from not breastfeeding to go to breastfeeding for 18 months, like that, you deserve an award for that. Because to get through a week is a lot. Yeah. So you did it for 18 months. So it's like, you deserve all the praise.
And I don't think anybody in my family breastfed. So I didn't have that support from anybody. So I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like, okay, as long as she on my nipple, I guess she eating.
If there was any advice to give them more awareness or to have them be more prepared when it comes to motherhood, what are some things that you feel like would be important for them to know?
I would say some advice would be definitely have a good support circle around you. Anyone who's not in a line with what your beliefs are, you keep them out of that circle. Do your research, your own research. Don't take advice from previous, other moms. Everybody's experience is different. Do your own research. If you can, if you are able and willing to have a normal pregnancy, do it at home. Avoid hospitals as much as possible. I would just say, just honestly, do your own research. Have that support. Have that support and be vocal. Say what your wants are, what your needs are, and be very intentional. And just keep a positive mindset.
Tell me all the things that you offer, where we can find you.
Okay, well, you can find me I'm located in Coral Springs, Florida. My personal Instagram is Myka, MYKA_Meek, MYK, or Natural Liberty _ on Instagram. I offer Seamoss, teas, soaps, and now I'm doing locs again. Yes, you could hit me up on the gram.
I'm never gonna let you down.